As a child, you would wait and watch from far away, but you always knew that you'd be the one to work while they all play. In youth, you'd lay awake at night and scheme of all the things that you would change, but it was just a dream. When you will have to rise above the rest and prove yourself, your spirit never dies. Farewell, I've gone to take my throne above, but don't weep for me, 'cause this will be the labor of my love.
Welcome everybody. It's here, finally, Season 5 of the new and rebranded Pokemon Premiership. I know we kept you waiting for a long time, but it's finally here, and luckily for you guys as well, you don't have to listen only to my voice for an entire hour. I have here a wonderful panel of some of the best trainers that our tournament has. I'm joined by Matt, Titanes, Spectre, and Seb all today. Thank you guys so much for joining. Let me start from Matt, who came out there dressed really nicely for today's occasion. Well, how are you feeling? It's Season 5, finally.
It's great to be here, and I'm sure I'll have even more thoughts once the fixtures do come about. But I'm looking forward to using my team and being in amongst this absolute cinema.
Absolute cinema. We were seeing the comments. We were seeing Titanes with the picture as well. Titanes, you're coming back again for a third season in a row. How are you feeling?
Yeah, very happy to be here. As Matt said, yeah, I think I'll have more thoughts after the draft. But yeah, the only thing that I'll say is third time's a charm.
Third time's the charm indeed. Spectre probably saying something similar. How are you doing, man? Glad to have you here.
I'm doing great. I think I'm really excited to see the new season coming back. I think especially now that the way that we've kind of got like proper branding and now we have like so many more teams, so many more players. And not only that, just the way we've just expanded the rule set and the way like I'm just looking at the document right now and I'm seeing so many great teams that have been built. I think there's going to be a significant increase in the quality of play this season, especially
Yeah,
with
we're
what
good.
people have been telling me throughout the offseason. Like they've been training, they've been getting better, they want to improve and they want to come for the trophy. It's not like there's going to be a cabal of like 5 or 6 people trying to go for it. It's all 20 of us.
Yeah, obviously. We're gonna go over in a few minutes about the teams that are taking part in this tournament, the expanded format. We're up to 20 people compared to last season 16, and we're gonna take a look as well as at the returning faces and the new faces that we have coming up for this season. But let me come to our returning face, Seb Ball. Thank you so much for joining once again. I know you were very excited, but how are you feeling today now that the group stage draw is taking place in a few minutes?
Yeah, I can't wait to see how the groups, who ends up in which group, and who I'll face. And I'm gonna start prepping right afterwards.
Yeah, that's right. So we're gonna speak a bit about the format because we have an expanded format now that we have 20 players instead of 16 for this season. We're gonna have 4 groups once again, but this time composed of 5 players each, which means that we're going to have 5 weeks of group stage with 1 player taking a bye each week. And then we have 8 matches total each week, just like we had last time around. And yeah, these 20 from those groups, the top seed is going to advance directly to the quarterfinals. All the second and third seed are going to advance to a playoff round that comes before the quarterfinals to try and get into that round. As always, all of the group stage games will be best of 1, and all of the playoff games will be a best of 3 set. So if we go take a look at some of the teams that have drafted, we did something different this time around, and it's that we didn't have a draft stream. Instead, we had our draft in the Discord server, which I'm going to leave in the pin comment. I can actually share it in the chat as well so that you can check it out, because even if you're not a competitor for this season, you can always go check the server out. You get to know the players, get to see all of the news that are happening with the league. And if you want to compete in a future season, the best way to do that is to announce yourself in the Discord server that I just left in the chat. And yeah, you can do that to get with the news and see if you can be a part of Season 6. But speaking about Season 5, we have our drafted teams already. We did them over there in the Discord. And I gotta say, there's some really good teams over here. And we're taking a look here first at Ayush, who is not joining us today, but he's one of the contenders. He was here last season and he was actually pretty good over there. And he's come away with a very, very scary team. Spectre, can you walk me through Ayush's team very quickly? We're going to do briefly on all the teams.
All right, here we have a very, very, like, just on paper, it's terrifying. Iron Valiant, Single Striker Shifu, Mega Charizard X, Corvin Latapalele, Freds, Araquanid, Typhlosion Zooey, Galarian Darm, Meowstic, and Ampharos. I mean, that is firing on full cylinders. You are just opening fire. You have 2 tactical nukes in the form of Shifu and Darmanitan, and they do a really good job of like working together to break down each other's checks they have in common. Then you have other sorts of setup sweepers like Megazord X and Iron Valiant, also just great, able to like you can't give him a single turn. And then you have the speed control also in Araquanid, and you also have a sort of a decent backbone in the form of Corviknight as well. You still have Tapu Lele, and you have like the special bias and Valiant, and overall, and of course Hisuian Typhlosion, who will be erupting like crazy at a great value, 3 points. I'm surprised nobody caught that. Um, Overall, I see this team. You can't give him space. You have to guard him as soon as he walks out of his car. As soon as he gets into the stadium, you have to man mark him. You have to, if he goes into the toilet, you have to make sure he's in the toilet and he's not trying to escape and give him any sorts of that sort of stuff. You cannot give him a single free turn, and the game will be over as soon as you see it.
I agree. I agree. That is something that I forgot to mention, but you are seeing on the screen is that every single trainer is also representing a team. This is something that some of us did for the previous season, but it wasn't like some consensus that we came together. This time we kind of incentivized all of the players to have a team. Ayush is representing the Solar Wings there with the Charizard in the logo. It looks really, really good. Next up, we got Steve. Steve is somewhat of an underrated player because every time I believe that he is doubted for his ability, but he's made the playoffs 2 times already in 3 seasons, which I think is pretty respectable. And he's rocking a pretty decent team. Titanes, could you walk me through Steve's team, the Red Avengers, real quick?
Well, of course, he's got Goldengo as his first Pokemon, which makes sense. I mean, I don't have a plethora of knowledge about the Gen 9 format, but I have, in the past seasons, I have practiced a lot with my teams for prep and random battles against in the Gen 9 format. And Goldengo I see on almost every team because it has such a good typing and it has a very good moveset as well, and that's such good ability. Urshifu Rapid Strike. I think it's. I think in some ways it's better than the single strike because it has, of course, that move which hits 3 times and a critical hit every single time. It can be so dangerous. Olgapon Wellspring, this mon is so annoying in the competitive scene. That grass and water form and water typing, it's so annoying to deal with. Great Tusk, one of the best Pokemon, I think, which is why it was put in as a 19-point Pokemon. King Gambit is so dangerous because it's a very good anchor to have. It has Sucker Punch, and also because of its ability, if Steve has 5 Pokemon down, and King Gambit has Sucker Punch on its moveset, and get ready for a hell of a battle in those final turns. And I think I was talking about this before the stream actually with someone, but Chansey, Florges, and Toxapex, that is a very hair-pulling trio right there. All annoying Pokemon, very annoying Pokemon to deal with. And then on top of that, you've got Galvantula with speed control, and then you've got Mega Sceptile, who I think is a bit of an unorthodox pick in my opinion, considering all the Megas available. But it's still got very good stats, and I think in the right circumstances can be quite dangerous. And of course, the Bombi is a good fairy type as well. So overall, a well-balanced team, and I think it's fair to say that's probably the best team that Steve has drafted so far in the history of his tournaments.
What I think that some people did with their Mega Evolutions is that some decided to go full firepower, like the term of Ayush, which he went for the Mega Charizard X to have like another carry when it comes to his Mega Evolution, while Steve and a few others have gone for a cheaper Mega Evolution that can adjust to their budget and just have other powerhouses instead. Mega Sceptile, fills that role, is fast, does a lot of things. So I think that Steve has drafted a really good team. It's just about how he uses it now. Next up, we have the London International, coached by Juliana, 2nd season in a row. Mats, could you give me some brief thoughts on Juliana's team?
Yeah, well, she's brought back both Mew and Articuno. Mew is, of course, one of the big names in Pokemon, can also use a lot of moves. Articuno is somewhat on that I've experienced using, and I think, to quote Jose Mourinho, at that price, it's fantastic. But I think, as well as some of the special attacking moves, it's got Heal Bell, Defog, Rain Dance. So there's quite a bit you can do. Garchomp, one of the few Megas that is considered not as good as its original form. and it's got she's got Spectaria, Darkrai as well, high valued Pokemon. And the final thing to take away is that she's got the starter trio from Gen 3, Blaziken, Swampert, and Sceptile.
We'll have to see if that synergy comes through for Juliana here in this tournament. She wants to try to make it out of the group after last season's disappointment, and I'm sure she'll be very, very strong in that regard. We have a few of our panelists here. Let me start with Seb. Obviously, I don't want you to reveal any of the strategies, but can you tell us a bit about your team and what the overall strategy was while approaching draft?
Yeah, I'm not that familiar with newer gens draft, so I just looked up what the best draft Pokemon was, and the general consensus was that it was either Dragapult or Iron Valiant. That's the best. So I wanted to draft one of them and then pick Pokemon that complement it well.
Makes sense. The Stockholm Steadfast are coming in with Dragapult, Terrapagos, Samurott, Hisui, Sneasler, Skarmory, Scrintel, Mamoswine, Arcanine, and Serperior. 9 members, which was the minimum. Some have chosen to go with 11 or 10. But yeah, Seb going with a bit of a shorter squad, with a lot of firepower, of course. Somebody who drafted 11 is Spectre, the coach of North Star PC.
So
Spectre,
Seb had Mamoswine when he first came to the tournament.
That's right, a returning face there for Seb. Spectre, a bit on your team.
Yeah, so no, I think what I was looking here to kind of like build like a more complete squad, kind of like use my budget to the best of the ability to kind of like have a team that could attack, defend, and also just go on all phases of the game. I think what I like about this team is just how malleable it is. I could go all out on offense, out on defense if I really wanted to. And I think just I have a lot of options, which I think was the most important for me in the drafting process and of course in gameplay.
Mm-hmm. Then over here we have the Serperiors of Madonina, one of the first of our many Inter fans, Doodle, who's coming in for his 5th season, the Season 1 champion returning. I'm rooting for Doodle because he's our OG champion and he has been doing a bit poorly in the past few seasons, and I feel like this season could be his redemption arc, and I want to see him doing it well, especially because we had another person who was kind of cross-talking him in the Discord, and we'll have to see if Doodle can prove him wrong. It's coming in with Great Tusk, Mega Medicham, Iron Bundle, Garganacl, Grimmsnarl, Gudra, Hisui, Aegislash, Tangrowth, and Morphescalar, and Galvantula as well. Galvantula, someone he's very familiar with. The webs are very, very amazing. He's got big fighting type damage in Great Tusk and Mega Medicham. He was very doubtful of his draft at first, but I think that he rounded up pretty well. He has some good defensive pieces, some good offensive pieces. I'm a bit worried about the inaccuracy of Iron Bundle when it comes to Hydro Pump and not having any other water type damage. But overall, I think that it's a well-balanced team, and it's obviously in the hands of a trainer that you cannot underestimate. Same with Willow, who is coming back for his 2nd season, Season 4's finalist, and that's why he earned the right to host this tournament in the United States, where we are right now. And the New York Red Buffalons are coming back. And, well, Titanes, could you tell me about this team? Because I think it's absolutely stacked as well.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's fine if I say it on here, but we were talking a couple of days ago on the Discord server, and Will revealed that he has 8 years of draft experience in Pokemon drafts. And on top of that, he said that pretty much he got everything he wanted, like all of his first choices. Like he literally pretty much said that the 7 Pokemon which he got, he believes are perhaps the 7 best Pokemon which he could have drafted in the whole pool. So it's thinking from that perspective, it's quite terrifying. Also has, of course, a massive home crowd advantage, and he also has, of course, he's also going to be very aggressive as well. He's going to go all out for that title and try to take it off U-Rank because, of course, he was so close last season to doing that as well. So yeah, he is a very big force to be reckoned with. Obviously.
Then we have 2 new faces. which are going to be Game Boy Shadow and Sea Lord, who both joined basically last minute for this tournament, representing the Texas Wishmakers and Team Sea Lord respectively. And I think they both have some really interesting drafts. Game Boy Shadow coming in with the Greninja, who's not joining the Bangkok Shinobis for the first time ever since it was introduced. Enamorus, Mega Gardevoir, Manaphy Kilo Water Iron Boulder, Bikeavolt, Jirachi, the mascot, Pelipper and Tornadoes. I think that he made those two swaps last time around. The Pelipper and the Tornadoes are new additions, and I think it gives him a really good Rain Core, which is very interesting. He has big Fairy type damage with Enamorus and Mega Gardevoir. And on the side of Sea Lord, Dragapult, Mega Mawile, which is one of the strongest Megas out there. Obviously very slow, but hits like a truck with that huge power. Slowking Galar, great for pivoting. Tinkaton, great support, and a great typing, the best typing in the game, Steel and Fairy. Same as Mega Mawile, he's actually doubling up on that typing right there. Rotom Hit, Ting Lu, Tangrowth, Zoroark Hisui, which is very interesting because we know the Illusion Struts are going to go crazy in this team. Lillian Hisui and Shedinja as the final team member. And yeah, obviously these two are a bit of a wild card, but we're excited to see how they do because we've had newcomers in the past just make an absolute splash and, take over the tournament. So we'll have to see if that's the case once again. They have to prove themselves. A returning face is Sabutian with Team LeBron James of Soccer, which I absolutely hate that name. But he's drafted a really interesting set of Pokemon. Seb, could you tell me a bit about Sabutian's team here?
Yeah, I can tell you about some of the older ones. I don't really know the new ones, but I mean, Tapu Koko is one of the best draft mons. It's great typing, great speed tier abilities, Electric Terrain, of course, and King Gambit is a crazy good sweeper. Lapune Mega, definitely one of the better Megas, with good priority power and pivoting options. And there's also some defensive balance, like Gliscor, Cryogonal, Slowbro. Two water types. Is Dreadnought a water type? I'm not sure.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
So 3 water types. That might be a bit much, but it's a decent draft.
Yeah, it's indeed a decent draft. Chi-Yu, one of the Legends of Ruin, added in the last game, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, a Fire and Dark type with very high special attack on top of the Beats of Ruin ability, which lowers the special defense of opposing Pokemon, so very, very scary as well. We'll have to see how Sabutian can bounce back from the previous 2 seasons, but he's drafted himself a very interesting team. Moving up to 2 other new contenders. Ida representing the Fion's title search, which I'm so happy because she had drafted this entire team and she hadn't drafted, she drafted Palafin, she drafted Mega Swampert, she drafted a Sumaril, and she hadn't drafted a Rain Setter. Finally, she decided to make a change and added Pelipper to their team. And yeah, now with Rain, this team is actually scary because that Rain mode with Mega Swampert and Palafin is actually really, really scary, as Sumaril as well. And then you got some really good pieces like the Iron Boulder, the Weavile, the Victini, which can take care of the grass types that the water types cannot. Metagross, who benefits from the Rain because it's not weak to fire anymore. I think that Ida has done something very, very decent here. And then we have Fails representing the Rogue Squad. With a very interesting team. I think this one is probably one of the most balanced drafts we've had, and Fails is an experienced trainer from what we could tell in the Discord server, even though they have no experience in this tournament either. Mats, can you tell me a bit about the individual picks that Fails has gone for?
Yeah, well, Zapdos is a great option. That was a backup to one of my picks that you'll see later. Can be both fast, strong, defensively as well. He's got Baxcluvia, which I did get to use on a random battle, and I found myself enjoying it. A Dragon Ice type that I then went to put on my list. Volcanion, I believe, only has 2 weaknesses and the ability of Water Absorb. Tyranitar, who's on its own, without the weather is a decent Pokemon, but it's a good Pokemon. But now that Sandstream will be allowed again, it's going to do even more damage. And then it's got a few others. Isla being perhaps the strongest towards the end of that bracket with its physical attack and it's a poison type too, so Toxic's not going to miss. I'd say it's a good 7 or 8, maybe 7.7 out of 10 in draft.
Yeah, I think it's on a more balanced end, but if Fails can prove to be a strong trainer in the group stage, it's definitely one of the people to look out for, especially because they are in pot 4, which could cause some really interesting group of death situations. Then you have the Buenos Aires Ninetales, coached by myself, the 2-time champions back-to-back, going for the 3-peat, with a team that I kind of improvised a bit with this one. I had not much time to prepare, but I think I went for the similar approach that I usually do, which is picking not really high power picks, but trying to have a lot of good Pokemon that synergize well with each other. But I actually decided to bring a core here, which is the Tyranitar Excadrill core in the sand, to try and do big damage over there. Tapu Fini as a bit of a defensive backbone, and then Manectric as my Mega Evolution, kind of on the cheaper end. And well, I also brought the Zoroark Hisui for some illusion shenanigans, if it comes to that. I really like my team. I don't know how everyone else perceived my team. You don't have to give your opinion, but I want to hear what is the general consensus about my team, because I haven't heard much.
One of the best.
Yeah, it's very bulky. I think it's going to be hard to. The games with you will probably be going for.
I think
against like other teams that are also similarly bulky. There's going to be like more of a chess match, like the type of like all out DC and the anime and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Manectric Mega is very fast as well.
Yep.
It is quite fast. Something that I usually struggle with is speed tiers whenever I draft. And this team isn't really speedy, but Manectric really helped with that. Anyway, if we're ready to move on, we have another one of our newcomers and another one of our Interfans, Philippe representing the Golf Arbox, which has a very interesting team with Spectre, also Landorus Tyrion, 2-time champion under my hand, Alomomola, Zygarde, Mega Venusaur, Iron Moth, Moltres, Melmetal, and Bronzong. And I'm very interested to see how Philippe does, because he seems to be very experienced, at least in the Pokemon Showdown ladder, maybe not in the Gen 9 format, but in the past, he's actually been a highly rated player, and especially because he's doing a lot of trash talk on our OG champion Doodle. He's been saying stuff like, quote, wanna teach that bum a lesson, and things of the sort. So I really think that Philippe wants Doodle to be in his group, which is possible. And I think that would be a great match of the inter-rivalry, and try to see if Philippe can actually stand up to the trash talk. And then we have a returning member, Eli Bongo, representing the New England Naranjas. Eli Bongo, I'm going to go out here and say that he's one of my favorite players we've had in Pokemon Tournament, like probably ever, because every time I look at an Eli Bongo draft, I'm like, this is so dog shit. But Eli Bongo, every time, he makes it work. Like, he's made back-to-back playoff appearances with teams that I usually don't rate. And I think that here he's got a lot of wild cards, a lot of Pokemon that nobody has drafted, like Hydrapple, the Porygon 2, which is his main staple, Klefki, Armarouge, Meloetta, Dragalge, Mega Aerodactyl, Roaring Moon, which I think is somebody that it's a bit overlooked with how strong it is. So I'm very, very interested to see what Eli Bongo cooks this time around, because every time he just surprises with the sets, which I think is
What drag with no mag here? I'm interested to see how he's. Because it seems like it's obviously it looks like the thesis of this team is to just bully any sorts of steel types, any sorts of fairy types into just not being able to handle anything at all. Yu-Gi-Oh! Honestly,
yeah, exactly. Like Willow is saying. Like Willow is saying, yeah, it's a lot of dragon types, but we'll have to see if he encounters a fairy type or a steel type, what the alternatives will be. to try and beat that team. We have Slither once again returning. Slither, one of the trainers that is usually here to improve, but he's getting a very competitive draft over here with Samrat Hisui, with Latios, Celesteela, Mega Diancie, Excalibur as well, Slowking, great pivoting. So even though he's gone for a bit of a cheaper draft, yeah, I think that Slither, his objective is obviously to improve, but I think that he's got a team that you really cannot underestimate. And I think that if you want to go over to face Slither, you have to really prepare for his team. And yeah, just look to outplay him in the match itself. When we look over here to Poke London, coached by Psychic, who's a trainer that's been very close to making the playoffs in 2 occasions now, and is coming, in my opinion, with a great draft. Seb, could you tell me a bit about Psychic's draft over here?
Yeah, Garchomp is great, very flexible, can be offensive, can be defensive. Deoxys speaks for itself, in my opinion. Thundurus is also great. Gyarados is one of the better megas, and getting it for just 12 points is good value. Yeah, and finally, balanced team offensively and defensively. It's got hazard removal as well.
Yeah, it's a very well-balanced team, and I think that if Psychic can manage it well, it's a contender for the playoffs. Like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see Psychic getting into the top 3 positions in a group. Kaijin Ken, one of our new faces over here, representing Shadow Shuriken with the Greninja, his mascot. Mega Diancie, Landorus Incarnate, Goldengo, which I call Goldiego. Chansey, Kyurem Black, Cloyster, Arachnid, Glimora, and Ditto, one of the most interesting picks because it can basically turn into anything. You get it for 4 points. If you transform into a 19-pointer, suddenly you have a 19-pointer in your team. So like it's very, very good value, but you need to use it well, obviously. And yeah, the rest, like a lot of water type damage. Landorus is a menace. I despise that version of Landorus so much because it does so much damage with Sheer Force and Life Orb for no reason. And Mega Diancie, one of the best megas as well. It's a mega legendary, so what else can you expect? So I think that Kaijin Ken is going to come in with a bang, honestly, in this one. And we'll have to see in which group he ends up to see what his options are. But now we're coming to the Bangkok Shinobis, who are returning for a 3rd season under Titanes. Well, Titanes, can you walk me through a bit of your logic behind this draft that you've gotten for yourself?
Well, yeah, every season I've tried to learn from my weaknesses. I think in season 1, in season 3, when I first joined, I think my team lacked a lot of bulk. I only had really Chansey as a good bulky Pokemon, which is why later I drafted in Dusknoir. But so the season after that, I try to have more bulky Pokemon with Sylveon, Celesteela, and then Electros and Malamar. So this time around, I ensured that I had hazard removal with Silvally and Cinderace. Then I wanted my team to be quite adaptable, which is why I had multiple Pokemon who could change their types. And I'm very happy with how balanced the team is as well. I think it's a very flexible team, a lot of mixed attackers, several mixed defenders as well. If that makes sense, I think my opponent wanted to be able to predict whether I go for a special, like for example with Heatran and Celesteela and Dusknoir, they want to be able to know if I'll go with a specially defensive or physically defensive set, because they have very similar stats for both. And yeah, of course, I'm a bit gutted that I didn't get Greninja, but I think Meowscarada is quite an adequate replacement. And yeah, I pretty much got, apart from Galarian Slowking as well, instead I got Alomola as well because I wanted a Regenerator Mon because it seemed so overpowered in the last couple of seasons. And yeah, I have Mega Latios as well, who is one of the, I'd say probably one of the, in terms of pure stats, I think it's one of the strongest Pokemon in the whole draft. So yeah, overall I'm quite happy with my team, and I think I'd go as far as to say I think it's definitely the best team I've drafted yet in the history of this tournament.
Yeah, and finally, our 20th player returning for his 5th season in a row is Team Mats, coached by Mats. which, one of my favorite players as well, because Mats came into the tournament in that first season when there was only 6 of us, knowing absolutely nothing about competitive Pokemon.
Nostalgia drafting.
Yeah, nostalgia drafting with only the first 2 generations. And yeah, I mean, Mats, ever since then, he put in the work. I think he's the player that works the most out of everyone with the terms of preparation and how much time he spends planning for a battle or his draft or whatever, and how seriously he's taken this entire tournament. And I appreciate that a lot. And the improvement showed. He made the playoffs that one time. Maybe a bit of a disappointment last season, but he's looking to bounce back with a few familiar faces like the Infernape, the Latias, the Empoleon. And most importantly for me is that Mats has drafted the wall Aggron Mega, 230 base defense, pure steel type with the filter ability is going to be so hard to take down. But Mats, can you walk me through a bit your thought process behind the draft and those 11 that you've gotten for yourself?
Well, I got 9 out of 11 of my first choices. I've got some fast attack, some attack that isn't quite as fast, but it's definitely very strong. I've got versatility with Hoopa or Unbound. I've got 4 defensive Pokemon that has various good abilities. And my Mega, my first choice got taken from me. So once I got to my last 2 to 4, I ended up just looking at the spreadsheet with my other picks in mind, and I saw Mega Aggron on, and I thought, might as well. I think I'll get over that based on what's left. And Meowscarada initially wasn't my first choice, but when I saw I had a more open budget come my last third, I thought I might upgrade on my grass type. So, and I've managed to recruit a previous champion in Fortress. So I'm happy with that. And some teams represent regions, but my team represents my general YouTube channel where it's named after Team Mats. I won't do any promos, but the name Mats is in that YouTube channel. And I go by some other fictional name that you may see in the press conferences.
We'll have to see about that now, but everyone here, like, that I have my own YouTube channel, Rank Talks Ball, but Mats has both his channels, Team Mats and English View on Porto. Titanes is a YouTuber. Seb is probably the biggest YouTuber that we have in this tournament now that Mike has gone. And yeah, Seb has an amazing YouTube channel in international football, so definitely go check those guys out. And
I might represent my other channel next season.
Could be. No, but Mats, I really rate your team. Meowscarada, one of the best grass type attackers. The Flower Trick is an amazing move that always creates, and Protein as well, very offensively. I saw a lot of people complaining about Dondoso. I don't think Dondoso is a very popular pick in your draft. People in the Discord weren't really happy with that one. But I think I've told you guys long enough, because there's one thing that you guys came here for, and that is the group stage draft. That is the main thing that we are doing today.
Question.
And so,
and I'll ask this in case it's going to be revealed afterwards. Is it true that Brock and Patrick Mealy are draw or panelists?
I will not confirm nor deny. But we're gonna quickly jump over into the group stage draw. Remember that Willow, because of being the host of the tournament, has gotten the right to be pool 1 and also be already seeded into Group A as the first seed. And that has gotten him, priority into the stadiums that he plays in, mostly around the New York area. But then we have our other Pod 1 members, which are going to be Rank, Spectre, and Seb. And yeah, we're going to have to see in which group everybody ends up landing. Let's jump right into it. Who's going to be the Pod 1 trainer for Group B, straight out of the gate, is going to be Seb Boll with the Stockholm Steadfast going into Group B. So I'm going to quickly add that to the spreadsheet. I'm going to be updating this live so that we have no mistakes later down the line. And then we're going to move on to see who's going to go into Group C between me and Spectre. Looks like the Buenos Aires Ninetales are going to join Group C, which obviously leaves Spectre and North Star PC in Group D. Obviously, so far, we don't know any of the matchups, so there's not really much to analyze as of now. But we are going to be jumping into the Pot 2 draft really, really soon to see our first few matchups, which, that's where the fun begins, where we can actually see who plays up against who. So we're looking here at the 4 trainers that are part of Pot 2, which are Titanes, Ayush, Eli Bongo, and Steve. So now we have to see who's going to join Willow in Group A. It's a big one. Ooh, it's actually going to be Eli Bongo.
I hope this is the opening. I hope this is the opening fixture of the tournament.
We're gonna have to check that out later. Actually, do we need to do that now? Like who?
No, I think we can do that. after that.
Just wait.
Okay.
You're cool, Rank.
I think we'll wait on that to see what the schedule actually is. I'll do that later. We'll do the entire draft and then I'll do the matches. Who's going into Group B though? Titanes. Out of the gate, Titanes. That is Seb's Group B. So that's going to be the Stockholm Steadfast against the Bangkok Shinobis. Very interesting matchup. We saw it in Season 3, I believe, right?
Yep.
Really like that matchup. I know that Seb wanted to face Ayush, but instead he gets to play another one of our Indian contestants. Now we get to see who's going to be in Group C with myself out of Ayush and Steve. It's going to be Steve, actually. Steve joins the Buenos Aires Ninetales, the Red Avengers, go into the Group C, which means that Ayush joins Spectre in Group D. Very, very interesting so far. So let me type in here Ayush representing the Solar Wings into Group D with Spectre. So now we go into Pot 3, which has Doodle, original champion, Mats, Psychic, and Juliana. And we have to see out of this. I think nobody wants to get Doodle out of this spot. It's the main one we're looking for potential group of death. But we're going to have to see. Group A is looking with Willow and Eli Bongo. Who is going to join Group A now? Oh, that's going to be really close. Oh, Juliana.
Wow.
Just
By a whisker.
By a whisker, the
Close to
London
two Milan
International.
derbies.
Yes. Juliana from the London International joins Group A with Willow and Eli Bongo. I have to see. Now, Group B, which already has Seb and Titanes, is going to be Mats.
Yikes.
it's a tough one.
Team Mats
Tough luck.
is joining Group B. I'm going to ask everybody their thoughts on the group once everything is finalized. And now we have to see Doodle is still there. Group C has myself and Steve. Maybe the OGs come back. No, it's going to be Psychic. So myself, Steve, and Psychic so far.
Ooh, for the first time ever, we'll be seeing Doodle versus Spectre.
Yeah. Doodle and Spectre and Ayush. That is a good. That is a good.
That's a good one.
The Superiors of Malonina join Group D. And that is wow. That is a great group. I already like that group a lot. We knew that whatever team or whatever group Doodle landed on, it was gonna be a banger. But you know that I already like that one already. So pot 4, I believe, is the one that can really spice things up because we have here Sabutian and Slither as the returning faces, but then we have Fails and Philippe, which are some of the new faces that, you know, they've shown that they are very, very experienced. And so I think that there's potential for Group of Death over here. I have to see who goes into Group A, which so far is Willow, Eli Bongo, and Juliana. Is it actually going to be Fails? It's actually going to be Fails going into that group as well. We already talked a lot about how we like Fails Trap, that we think it's very, very balanced. And now it's joining a very, very interesting group. Group B, which so far is looking Seb, Titanes, and Mats, is going to get a new trainer. Oh, is it going to be Philippe? Yeah. Oh, that group is very interesting now. That group is very interesting.
We will not see that derby unless Doodle makes the playoffs.
Yeah, no, we really wanted to see Philippe go up against Doodle. It's not going to happen, unfortunately, but I'm happy with this draw. We're going to see now Group C, which is myself, Steve, and Psychic. It's now also going to have Slither in there. Slither is going to join Group C. The Eternal Emperors is the team name, which I don't think I mentioned before. And that means that Sabutian goes into Group D, Team LeBron James of Soccer.
Tough luck.
Please just say LBJ.
No, I'm good, I think. I'm good. So finally we have Pool 5, which is going to be Kaijin Ken, Ida, Gamebow Shadow,
and the Lord.
And Sea Lord. And we're going to see now who's the final trainer that joins Group A.
It'll be Ida.
Ida will be joining Group A.
The Tidal Surge is coming to Group A, which is our first finalized group. Very interesting group. I really like that group as well. Both Group A and Group D so far are looking amazing, but we still have to finish the draft. Group B as well is looking mighty interesting, so we'll have to see what the new face is going to be in that one. Oh my God, we're going to get the Greninja Derby with the Bangkok Shinobis and Shadow Shuriken, coached by Kaijin Ken.
As soon as he drafted Greninja, he declared war. This is war.
The Shadow Shuriken, Greninja going to play against his former team, the Bangkok Shinobis, in Group B. That is an amazing storyline. We now have the final trainer that is going to join Group C. It's going to be Sea Lord. Sea Lord representing Team Sea Lord. Keeping it very simple over there. And that means that Gamebow Shadow is going to go into Group D alongside Spectre, Ayush, Doodle, and Sabutian. Bit of a rough draw, that one is. But yeah, that's going to be the draw. Titanes, do you mind sharing the screen to show everybody what the groups look like?
Yep, sure.
Right, let me remove this.
No, it's
see now a lot of comments that I was seeing.
Yep,
yeah,
so these
we're
are...
going to battle for the first time. Show this.
It's my screen, yes, it is shared. So, yep, these are our official groups. Group A is Willow, Eli Bongo, Juliana, Fails, Ida. Group B is Seb, myself, Mats, Philip, Kaijinikan. In Group C is Rank, Steve, Psychic, Slider, and Zelor, and last but not least, Spectre, Ayush, Doodle, Savutian, and Game Boy Shadow. So, yeah, indeed, revenge, indeed. But yeah, I think out of this, I'm a bit curious as to what. I mean, I suppose we can first go to Seb. I mean, of course, I think it's this Group B is very interesting with, of course, Philip, who seems quite knowledgeable in Pokemon. Max, you faced many times before. Myself, you have faced before, but I think you'll be itching for another crack at me to defeat me this time. And Kaiten can also have some quite good Pokemon. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts on Group B and how you think I'll match up in this group. Sabina? In that case, Max, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the group because, of course, you faced myself and Seb before as well. Those are ongoing rivalries, and then there's two new solid competitors with Philippe and Kaiten again. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on your group, and how do you think it's fair?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this draw at all. Albeit, I would probably feel the most confident preparing against Seb out of all the pot 4 players. Not to say he's the weakest. I think he's so anywhere between second and fourth. But as for the rest, yeah, I was hoping I would have got Otten, Eli, or Steve. I was hoping for one of the returners, and as from pot 4, and I'd got possibly the strongest player, and not quite sure what to make of playing. It might take a bit of time for me to be able to pronounce Kai Ai's full name, but yeah, he could possibly he might have been one of the ones I would have preferred not to play, but thankfully with the squad I've got, I can back myself more, but could have asked for a better one, to be honest.
Wait, I zoned out a bit. Was I asked what I think of the group, or I thought it was someone else?
Yes, I was asking you that.
I'm excited about a rematch with Titanes. He beat me in season 3, and I was excited to play him in the semis last season. I had prep done and a solid plan to win, but then Willow just crushed him instead. So we never got that rematch then. So I'm excited now. Mats has improved a lot, but I should be able to beat him. I'm really excited to see where the newcomers stand. Philip strikes me as a top player potentially, maybe Kajinkan too, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, both fair takes. And then from I believe we are the last panelist we can talk to about their group. Very curious to hear your thoughts on this Spectre. I think Group D could be the closest we think we have to a group of that, because you've got Savutian, who's a very experienced player. I think he's been very unlucky in the past, but I think he's got good Pokemon knowledge. You've got a champ in Doodle, who's got a good draft this time. You've got Ayush, who, he took a game of rank last season, so that pretty much tells the whole story with him. And of course, Game Boy Shadow is a new kid around the block as well. So how do you think you'll fare in this group?
It's not going to be easy. I mean, we can start with that. I think really what's going to be most important is that you have to just perform. All of these teams are very much these are good players. These are probably aside from we don't know anything about the 5th the fifth pot, which is like the whole wild card part. Like I think really Group D has drawn like the strongest players really from each of the pots, in my opinion. Um, I think this probably is going to be the group of death again. So I guess I must be. It's the third season in a row now if I'm in the group of death. But I think it's going to be, you have to be able to capitalize on any sort of mistake, really. Ayush, of course, is very good. You have, like I told you, have to guard him the second he steps out of his car. Doodle is definitely has a much better team compared to his last couple seasons, and I think with a better team that's been drafted, he's going to be able to find his form again. Of course, Sabu-chan, he also like really took it to Willow last season, even though he didn't win in the last season's group. He took it to Doodle. Well, not Doodle, excuse me. He took it to Ayush and he took it to AEL, both of whom have shown that they have the ability to win the championship. Of course, AEL with his trophy, and AEL with his trophy, and Willow with his finals run. And of course, I'm also interested to see how Game Boy Shadow does as well, because that's kind of going to be like the wild card event of the game.
Yeah, all fair points. So basically, what I'm hearing is when in a battle against you and Ayush, it's gonna have to hope that he's Pirlo and that you're Jason Park. That's pretty much what I'm hearing. So yeah, I believe Rank right now is busy with the spreadsheet.
keep it
hence,
going.
oh yeah, so yeah, hence why I'm hosting temporary leave. So I suppose I'll give my thoughts then on the groups, my group, until Rank is available to give his thoughts on his group. Yeah, I'm quite happy with the group. I wanted another crack at Rank or Willow because those are the main two players who I have, I need to get revenge against. But of course, in retrospect, getting revenge against them in the playoffs would be a bit more cinematic, which would be more enjoyable. And yeah, I think I'm quite intrigued about this group. I think Mats I faced before, and I think last season he was the only player in my group who actually gave me a challenge. So I think we'll have another good battle. Seb, in my opinion, is probably the most pragmatic player I've seen in this in this tournament. He's so calculated with every move which he makes. And then of course, yeah, Philip and Kaijin again. I am so excited to throw down with him. I knew that I was going to have a big rivalry with him as soon as he picked Ninja. And then yeah, of course, Philip. Of course, he will probably unsatisfied that he didn't get Doodle, but if he's in the chat, and I showed him that he has some strong competitors to take Doodle's place instead. So yeah, I'm curious as to I think Rank can give his thoughts on Group A later. So, but no one on the panel is in. Rank's in Group C, so I'm on Group A. I'm curious, Matt. I'm curious to hear panelist members, a panelist's thoughts on Group A. I mean, you've got Willow, who's coming back for his championship. You've got Eli Bongo, who's such a wild card. And you've got Juliana, who, I mean, he did quite well against Seb last season. And also, I believe she beat Psychic. And then you've got Fails and Ira, who are two wild cards as well. So, I mean, what do you think about this group? How do you think it's going to go?
Well, we've got two New York City fans in the group, and if they do play at a Yankee Stadium, as it's called, then that would be cinema. Eli should certainly have enough to get to the knockouts in some position, and then I think it's going to be a very competitive. It's going to be very competitive to get to that other spot between Juliana and these new players. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't Juliana invite one of the other Group A players to this?
Yes.
So there's that narrative as well.
Yep. Indeed, yeah, it'd be quite an interesting group. This is a question in general to the panel. Anyone can answer it, but from these groups, what are some of the biggest matchups do you think we'll see? Because I mean, last season, I think the best games probably came in in the playoffs simply because it was a best of 3 series. But we had a lot of great games in the group stages, which were one-off games as well. So, what are some matchups which you guys think could be of that caliber or even exceed the caliber of group stage matches that we had last season?
Spectre Ayush is the first thing that stands out for me.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I also think. I also think. I think from what I've seen, Group C, I think could be the weakest group. That's not really to disrespect any of the other players there, but I do expect rank to. I think out of all of the top players, rank will have the least difficult path on its way to the playoffs. That's just my opinion. Can agree, disagree. But I also think Willow versus Eli Bongo, I'm very intrigued by, because I think Eli Bongo, if he can get back on form, I think he can give Willow a proper good game. And of course, as Matt said, I think it's going to be a great opener for the tournament if it does happen. I mean, any other matchups you guys think? I mean, I think it goes without saying that me against Seb, I think, is also quite up there.
I think Doodle against myself and Doodle against Ayush are also going to be
I was
marquee
wondering
matchups.
about that as well.
Yeah.
Because he's obviously going to get back into form.
Plus, Doodle was the one that brought Spectre here.
And I mean, yeah, Doodle has definitely been huge, at least to like the organization of this tournament, because he's brought in, I think he's brought in at least half of the players.
Indeed,
like a lot of these guys are from Serie A, so like there's like I think there's like at least like one Serie A derby per group, and I think it's almost a guarantee that it's going to be at least one in the playoffs. I think the people that he's brought are such good players and or have improved to be in that elite level.
Yeah, and I mean, he himself has so much to prove from the last 2 seasons. I think that in season 3 and season 4, there were some. He had a bit of the way we did the draft didn't really suit him, and because of that, he didn't end up getting drafts which he liked. But I think this time, with the format change in the draft, I think we've now got a format which everyone likes. So I think from that, Doodle has gotten his perhaps not preferred team, but a good team, at least better than the last 2 seasons. So I think he can be very competitive.
He has what he wants, and I think that's more important.
Yeah.
When you have what you want, you are going to be doing a lot better than if you have to like play around with stats and all that sort of stuff. And obviously, like he has proof that he's a good player. He's one of 3 players in the history of the tournament to make the final twice. The other 2 being, of course, Rank and AEL, who couldn't unfortunately hit his personal. And of course, we always have him in our hearts. We hope you're doing well.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, who do you guys see as dark horses? Because I think last season, Steve, I think, was the biggest dark horse we saw from the group stages, getting past the champion AEL. So do you guys see anything similar like that happening in the group stages this time around?
Anybody from top 5, and I think any of the newbies, because we just don't know enough about them. I think you can't just, you have to presume they're good. I mean, there's no reason not to presume they're good, and I think really that's part of what's going to be what makes the season so great, is the new players that are going out here and proving themselves on this big stage. I think for established players, I think it's time for Matt to kind of take that big step up. I think it's time for Psychic to really make that big step up as well. I mean, Psychic, he missed the playoffs by such a razor-thin margin. I mean, and probably the best game of the season, individual game of the season last season, I think. And I think he has a group that I think is going to be, that he's going to be able to show his how he's grown, because he's gone up to me, he's gone up to other people, he says, I want to improve, I want to do better, and now it's time to prove that he has.
Yep. And I mean, I personally think it's quite possible as well, because in my opinion, I think Psychic does have the capability to take on Steve, to take on Slitter. I think Zelo's a bit of a question mark, but I think Sorry, was anyone saying something?
No. I'm
Okay,
not saying anything.
Okay. I think, and yeah, as I was saying,
Psychic has
and yeah, I think,
the bragging rights over Steve.
sorry.
Psychic currently has the bragging rights over Steve.
Indeed, because yes, I believe
So
he
that's
did
another
beat Steve.
narrative.
Yep, he did beat Steve in season 3, and I think he does have the capability to get past Slither. So if you get past 2 players, then you're already almost pretty much almost there to the playoffs. So I mean, I think for his sake, hopefully he fulfills his narrative and makes it to playoffs this time. And I mean, I'll be very interested to see what happens with that. And yeah, I think overall, I think the way the groups are set up as well, we can have some fantastic matchups in the round of 16 as well. I think that was a very interesting format change, which was implemented this season. I mean, from a pool of 20, we have pretty much around a 16. Of course, it's not exactly that, because there's a playoffs against second and third, sort of like a little similar to the Champions League format in real life, but it's just instead of a round of 32 to round of 16, we straight up go from the playoff round of 16 to the quarterfinals. So yeah, I mean, I think I can ask Seb this. Do you think this change for introducing the playoff format, do you think it'll be a good change for the tournament?
Yeah, and I mean it just makes sense as the tournament expands.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, because then we can include more players, and then we can have better matchups. And
I have the matchups ready if people want it. Like, I know that's what you guys were waiting for. Sorry for the delay.
No worries.
So, if you could go up and zoom in, we can show guys the first matchups that we have here. Opening match is going to be Willow against Juliana at Yankee Stadium. And we also have Ida against Eli Bongo from Group A. Group B
In Jerry World.
Yeah. Group B opens with Seb against Kaijinken and Mats against T10S.
Okay.
Then Group C opens with Psychic against Sealord and Rank myself against Steve. Pot 1 and Pot 2 over there. And then Ayush plays against GB Shadow and Spectre Doodle, match 1 from Group D.
I think that's the highlight.
Great.
Yep. I think we can also take a look at others as well briefly.
Yeah, go for it. Because in week 2, Fails makes their debut against Juliana, while Ida takes on Willow. Mats has to play against Seb. Mats, I'm sorry for the schedule. You got T10S and Seb right away. First 2 weeks. And then Kaijinken plays against Philip, making their debut as well in that one. Sealord against myself. Slither against Psychic. Doodle, Gameboy Shadow, Sabutian, Spectre in week 2.
Wow. And then
week 3 with Eli Bongo against Fails and Ida against Juliana. Week 3, the Pot 1 players are the ones who take a break. So here are we have no Pot 1 players in week 3. Ida plays against Juliana, T10S against Philippe, and Kaijinken against Mats. Psychic plays against Steve. Sealord against Leader. Doodle Ayush is the standout of that match day, for sure. And Gameboy Shadow against Sabutian.
I do have one question. I've seen some players get skipped in between weeks. I was just wondering how is that working?
So the way that I decided to do it is that the Pot 1, because they are the highest rated, they get the benefit of resting mid-tournament, which is week 3. And after that, I kind of decided, Pot 5, kind of the opposite. You play your matches and then fate is kind of out of your hands, unfortunately, because somebody has to get a bye in the final match day. And I decided that it would be the Pot 5 players. And so Pot 5 doesn't play in the final match day. And then Pot 3 rest in week 4. Pot 2 rest in week 2. And Pot 4 rest in the first week, which is why Philippe over here is saying, yeah, you don't play in the first week, but you play all the other weeks after that.
I think it's I think it's a great idea, because I think I was wondering, because if we did like every game per match day, like every weekend, then the streams would be way too long. So I think it's a good implementation, in my opinion.
I mean, it's just also because we have an odd number of players in each group,
Right.
so like somebody's always left out each match day. Week 4, banger. Willow against Eli Bongo. I love that matchup so much. Well, Fails has to play against Ida. Titanes against Kaijinken. There's the Greninja derby as well. Well, Seb
I have to
takes
wait
on
that long
Philippe.
for it? Goddamn.
Yeah, I'll make you wait for it. But Seb has to play against Philippe. I think that's very interesting. If
That's gonna
Philippe
be
is
fun
as
as
good
well.
as he says, like Seb against Philippe is a really, really good one. Slither plays against myself, and Steve takes on Sealord. Gamebow Shadow against Spectre. Sabutian against Ayush. Another good matchup, in my opinion. And the final match.
I'll also say that as Kai Jenkins not playing on week 5, Titanes could end up eliminating him on match day 4.
It's possible.
Well, for that,
That
he's
would
gonna
be
have
all.
to
That
get
would be
past
extra
Seb.
drama.
So like we're gonna have Titanes against Seb on the final match day,
yeah.
which I mean is fantastic. First off, in Group A though, Fails is gonna pair up against Willow, while Eli Bongo takes on Juliana. Eli Bongo Juliana on the final match day, also fantastic. The Group B, like we said, Titanes against Seb. I think that one has potential to be a classic if there's qualification to the playoffs on the line. While Mats plays against Philippe. I play against Psychic on the final match day, while Slither takes on Steve. Sabutian against Doodle. There's a Milan
Milan
derby
derby.
brewing. And I use Spectre on the final match day. I think that the final match day looks amazing. Like this.
Yeah, I think you can now give your thoughts on your group. And KST, how about you think about your group?
So overall, I think that comparing it to the trainers that were available, I got a fairly easy group. Like I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I think that from Pot 2, I could have gotten Titanes. I could have gotten so many good trainers. Ayush, for example. Steve, like I mentioned, he's really underrated. I have to prepare well for him, and he has a strong draft. But I think that out of the other options that were there, he's one of the ones I would have chosen from Pot 2. And Psychic's Leader are two of our players that have been here for a while, and while they've improved, I think that they still have a bit of a way to go. It'll be interesting to see how they battle it out between themselves, but I think I have the favorite matchup against them, and obviously Sealord is a newcomer. We have to see how he is, but I think that overall I got a pretty favorable draw, I'm not gonna lie. And so yeah, I think that the expectation once again is to be top of the group and get the bye into the quarterfinals.
I think it's okay for me to stop sharing, right? I don't think there's anything else in the spreadsheet to talk about.
Go ahead. We know that Willow also had his thoughts on Group A, which I didn't fully read. Group A would be interesting to play, but anything that can happen at this point. I am facing new fellas this time around till playoffs if I can make it till the Milky Way. Thank you so much, Willow, for your thoughts. And yeah, I mean, we've been live for over an hour now. We've gone over all of the teams that are participating, all of the Pokemon that have been drafted, and also the group stage draw, which has finally been finalized. We have our first match days. Remember that the match day stream is going to be Saturday at noon. We're going to decide whether if it's 1 p.m. or 12 EST, but it's going to be at noon on Saturday. So if you're playing your matches this week, remember to, if you can make the stream live and have your battle live on stream, we would love that. If not, you can schedule your matches with your opponent. Make sure to contact them. I'll ping everybody on the Discord so you can contact your opponents and schedule ahead of time. I don't know. Does anybody have any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Bring it on.
Bring it on.
Yeah, I think that everybody has the same energy. Everyone's excited for Season 5 of the new and rebranded Pokemon Premiership. Thank you to everyone who's watched, who's interacted here in the chat, and obviously to the panel for being here. It's been fantastic. And yeah, we'll see you all for the first match day here on Saturday. Take care of you all. See ya.